True promise. Why and how did Iran launch a historic attack on Israel? Iran has just launched the largest ever drone strike in the world and the biggest missile attack in its history. Iran's use of hundreds of drones and missiles to directly target Israel overnight on Sunday in retaliation for an Israeli strike on the Iranian consulate in Damascus sets some major political and military precedents. It was the single largest drone attack ever carried out by any country, and it was the first time Iran directly attacked Israel after almost a half century of being its enemies. Here is a look at what political, military, and economic considerations Tehran might have factored in while deciding on the attack that has amplified fears of a larger regional war and that could also affect the direction of Israel's war on Gaza. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps (IRGC) dubbed the operation through promise to show the top leaders in Tehran, including Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, intend to make good on their vows of punishment for attacks by Israel and others. The attack was in response to the April 1st Israeli strike on the Iranian consulate in Damascus that killed 7 IRGC members, including 2 generals in charge of leading operations in Syria and Lebanon, along with 6 other people. It was mainly aimed at strengthening Iran's deterrence, which critics said had been compromised after increasingly confrontational policies and military strikes by the United States and its allies across the region, especially following the January 2020 assassination of top General Qasem Soleimani in Iraq. Iranian officials also appear to have exercised a degree of strategic patience after the late December assassination of another top IRGC commander in Syria, Ghazi Mousavi, in an Israel air raid amid the fallout of the war on Gaza. In action, lower-grade strikes or being content with military action through the axis of resistance of aligned groups across the region would in this vein be viewed as too costly for Iran both locally and abroad. That is true even as Tehran recognized that Israel and the embattled government of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu may see benefits in escalating tensions across the region and forcing the US military into taking more action against Iran. On the other hand, the unprecedented Iranian attacks may have briefly shifted the world's attention from the deaths of tens of thousands of women and children in Gaza Strip, but they could translate into soft power. Gains for Iran in the Muslim world in the long run when compared with other regional powers. Saudi Arabia has not ruled out normalizing relations with Israel despite the carnage in Gaza, and Turkey only started militating some exports to Israel earlier this week after the Israeli government refused to use it to airdrop aid over the besieged enclave. Where infants are dying of starvation, both Saudi Arabia and Turkey have, however, been deeply and vocally critical of Israel's war on Gaza. Iran would also have plausible arguments on the United Nations Security Council since attacks on diplomatic mission signals a violation of the Vienna Convention, and since Article 51 of the UN Charter enshrines the inherent right of self-defense, something Israel has been heavily leaning on since the start of the Gaza war. A list of military firsts for Iran. There is no official confirmation from Iran about exactly how many drones or ballistic and cruise missiles it used to attack Israel, but the Israeli military said more than 300 were launched. Iranian drones have been making international headlines for the few past years, especially following Russia's invasion of Ukraine more than 2 years ago. Ukrainian officials say the Iranian-designed Shahed drones on the Russian military continue to rain down over their territory. Shahed 136 kamikaze drones that carry a relatively small warhead weighing some 50 kg, 110 pounds, were used in the attack on Israel, Iranian state television said on Sunday. Telegram channels affiliated with the IRGC said the Shahed 238, which is powered by a turbojet rather than the propeller on the 136 model, was also used in the attack. The 238 model sacrificed some maneuverability for significantly higher speeds that are believed to reach as high as 600 kmph to 372 mph. Iran has been known to possess the largest and most varied missile arsenal in the Middle East, but this was by far the largest test of its capabilities.
I'm dreaming in dreams bigger than me, taking my time, giving to me, paint my life into a masterpiece, coloring it how I want it to be, won't stop till I see what I want to see.
State television said on the HEMAG long-range ballistic missile and the Pave cruise missile were used to attack Israel in February, a large-scale military exercise that included simulating an attack on the Palmachim airbase in Israel. The IRGC used HEMAD missiles and launched the DS-4 ballistic missile from a warship. Iran also possesses Fatah, a hypersonic ballistic missile that could theoretically arrive in Israel in as little as 7 minutes, along with a cruise missile variant of the same family. There was no indication the missiles were used in the early Sunday attacks. Either way, in multi-layered attacks over several hours, Iran has just managed to conduct its largest ever drone and missile strikes that cover some of their longest distance in a real military operation. The operation achieved a level of success that exceeded our expectations, said IRGC Commander-in-Chief Hossein Salami, adding that the projectiles only targeted military sites, including the Navatim airbase in the Navag desert that was allegedly used to launch the Israeli strikes on the Iranian consulate in Syria. What are the economic effects? The effects of the historic attack on the already troubled Iranian economy was likely lower than the weight of political and military dimensions on the list of considerations for Iranian leaders as they planned offensive in the 2 weeks since the consulate attack. But as expected, there was an immediate reaction in local market, with foreign currencies climbing amid rising anxieties over prospects of the conflict further sliding into a regional war. The Rial, Iranian's falling national currency, dropped to a new all-time low of about 670,000 per US dollar on Sunday before regaining some ground. The semi-official Tasnim news website reported on Sunday that very few currency and gold deals are taking place in Tehran and other markets as an atmosphere of caution is dominant. The Tehran prosecutor's office announced on Sunday that it opened a case against an unnamed journalist, and the Jahan-e-Sanet newspaper they worked for due to disturbing the society's psychological security and disturbing the economic atmosphere of the country.